when they talk about, like, when they say the person is holy, um, uh, there's different ways to interpret why that word, because the word whole is like a whole, right? It's like, you know, or it could be whole, like meaning complete, right? Um, but what so basically what from most of these sort of contemplative or spiritual traditions, what they say is that um, there could be seen as like layers of like an onion or something, right? And um, the um, the most outer layer that you have is one of the most superficial sense of your identity. And so the most superficial layer of your identity is things that you can identify as through possession and object. So you can identify through thing fetish, like the kind of car you have, or the kinds of shoes you have, or even a house, or anything that is object related, right? So that's the most superficial level of you identifying with anything or having an identity is through things that you can own. Um, and then if you go deeper than that, you can identify with skill, so that you can say, oh well, I am who I am because I'm good at this thing. So I'm a good, I don't play guitar, but let's just say I'm a good guitar player, and I draw a sense of identity from my skill level. So like I'm good at the guitar, so that's how I identify myself, and that's how I know myself to be who I am because I'm a good guitar player, right? Um, and then but then if you go even deeper than that, then you have the personality level, where it's just not it's deeper than skill because it is more fundamental, like, oh, it's who I am, like I'm funny, or I'm smart, or I'm kind, and those are qualities of your person. So that's the deepest, or wait, that's the on a non-spiritual level, that's the deepest you can go. So there's those three levels. So the outer is possession, or sorry, property, and then you have skill, is intermediate, and then more core level of personality. Those three levels are subject to pain and loss, because you can lose like you can lose your house, lose your car, whatever, lose even a person in your life, whatever. So then you can feel loss. Skill level, you can be not as good as somebody else as compared to, oh, he plays the guitar better than me. That means who am I? Oh no, I'm not good enough, or whatever. So then you have loss there. And then on the personality level, this is where you can get hurt. You can feel mistreated. You can feel, unloved, or whatever, as you're on a personality level. That personality level is the last level where pain can enter. That beyond that is what we call the unwoundable core, which is the spirit. Within everybody is the soul level, which is, you can call it inner self, or um, awareness, consciousness. It has never been wounded. It never can be wounded. It doesn't identify with anything. It doesn't identify with personhood. So you can't hurt that part of you within everybody. Because in order to get hurt, you have to have a personality. Like, oh, you weren't there for me. In order to feel like you weren't there for me, I have to identify with my personality first to feel as though you weren't there for me. Right? Does that make sense? And um, so the wounding, like psychological wounding, can only go as far as the personality level. You can't wound somebody on a spiritual level because that place has no personhood. That's what makes it spiritual. You can't have personhood and spirituality. They don't. Um, they are not. They're mutually exclusive. You can't have a sense of spirituality while maintaining a sense of personhood. And that's why that center is holy, because it is empty. It's empty of any identification. It doesn't identify with things, it doesn't identify with skills, and it doesn't identify with personhood. So it doesn't have those things. What is inside of it is almost qualityless. It doesn't have any quality except for its own type of texture, maybe light or consciousness, or something that you can't really speak of. Maybe poetry can describe what it is only an expression. But that place is empty. The good news is that within everyone is that place that is unwoundable. That means that even those who have potentially unfavorable conditions when growing up, so maybe you feel abused or um, sexually molested, or parents who were abandoned you, whatever. That pain is there. But the good news is that within everybody, there is a part that has never been wounded. The part that doesn't identify with their biography. The part that is something more essential. But that's the idea of that is why that's why a holy person is not really identified with personhood. You can't be holy and be in personhood. Personhood is by within itself is arrogant and meager, it's low, because you're identified with, oh, me, my things, I'm not good enough, or you did this to me. That's personhood. So holiness is transcendent of that. It is not higher but deeper. It's deeper than that. If you were to ask, if I was to say, can you just like yourself, and then and I told you, but you can't grasp for any reason. That's the place. It's a place of unconditional love that doesn't reach for, oh, I love myself because I'm good at playing the guitar, or I love myself because I'm a good person. Those are all still superficial in a way because they're reaching for something objective. But that place is qualityless, unconditional. The spirit has nothing to do with any of that stuff. The spirit is in a way some eternal source within you that is not nothing to do with whether you're a good person, bad person, whether you're good at the guitar, whether you have or not. That is something that is more stable and completely indestructible, and that doesn't need a reason. That's what makes it spiritual. And that's what they call when they call the void, that empty place. It's empty, but with not so much empty. It's empty with anything that you can describe or anything that you can grab onto. But it's full with its own kind of spiritual fluff, whatever is in there. I think it's important to note that because I think it provides a place of solace to know that you are not defined by your story. A person is not defined by their biography. That there within everyone is a place that's never been wounded, and that's good news. It's good to know that we have within us a spirit that is that's not broken, so that when you sit with somebody, it's what I try to do is what we teach is to look at somebody and to see beyond the brokenness and to see that within them there's something that isn't broken. So you're not sitting with broken people, that you're sitting with beautiful spirits.